by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you.
Welcome back to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Franco Zavala. Thank you very much for joining me. This is episode 107. Today is Thursday, which means Thursday Q&A. I had 3 questions sent to me over the last few days. Actually, I had 13 questions sent to me, but I picked 3 because I feel like these are some good ones. A couple of them are basic. One of them is pretty complicated. So I'm just going to kind of give you my take on them. If you have a question, if you have concerns, if you just want some advice, feel free to send me an email right here, contact@theprofessionalstepdad.com. And you know, I'll go ahead and take a look at the question and I'll make an episode about it, or I'll just probably send you a message because I like to do that too. I want to make sure that I'm always answering anybody that takes their time to send in a question to me. Before I go any further, like always, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share to the show, hit that notification button. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, what is it? Apple, wait, that's iTunes, right? Yeah. TikTok, Instagram, and of course Facebook, and of course the professionalstepdad.com website is up and running, and you should take a look. You can obviously submit your questions there as well. Oh, something in my mouth. Okay, so we're going to kind of go into these questions. This is question 1. I really need recommendations on books that help with raising teenage girls. I am a stepmom, and my husband and I are at a loss. All right, so the reason I chose this question is because A, it's from a stepmom, not a stepdad, which I think is fucking phenomenal that my show has kind of reached stepmoms as well. I mean, this is the Professional Stepdad. But stepmoms, if you find me and you want to talk and you have questions, feel free to send in. I would, like I said, be happy to make a show about it. So books on teenage girls. I believe, and this is my thought, I believe that there's one specific book that is going to be focused on any kid, any one of your children. And that is the 5 Love Languages for Kids, for children. And the reason for this book, the reason for the 5 Love Languages is because it's really going to help you identify the proper way to communicate with your child. Now, you say you and your husband are at a loss because you are trying to get through to your teenage daughter. Well, here's the thing. When we try too hard to ask them or to force them to open up to us, to share their problems, to share what's going on, when we try too hard, it's like a red flag on their end because they don't want that. That's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for someone to solve their problem. They are looking for someone that can communicate with them properly, so it feels like you, as the step parent, understand them as an individual. It's all relative, right? Everybody's problems are relative. Me as an adult, and my kids as you know, let's just say my 17-year-old. It's all relative. At that moment in time, those problems are going to be the center of their world. Just like as an adult, my problems are the center of my world, and I need to do everything I can to try to fix these problems or try to address these problems. Kids are going through the same thing. So if you're dealing with a teenager who seems to be a little bit rebellious, maybe they're not talking, maybe they're spending more time in their room, what have you. My advice is going to be to sit down and read the 5 Love Languages for Children. Figure out what their love language is, their primary and their secondary. Now, if it's a teenage daughter, chances are you're going to be really focused on that primary love language. That will help you understand them, not only as an individual and as a person, as a kid, but it will help you understand how to properly communicate with them. Because then and only then will they open up to you. Does this mean that you're going to read the book, you're going to figure out what their love language is, and they're going to immediately change the relationship? No, that's not what I'm fucking saying. What I'm saying is that you need to do your research and homework on how to communicate with them. Remember, most everything we do is nonverbal, right? How we react, how we respond with our facial expressions, with our body language, with the way we maybe talk out loud about somebody else. Everything plays a part. And if you are not communicating properly with your teenage kid, It's because you just don't know how to communicate with them. And you don't know how to communicate with them, stepmom, because you've never taken the time to figure out what their love language is. What's their primary love language? What's the way to talk to them verbally or non-verbally in a way that they're going to see that you actually give a shit about them? That's one of the things I did early on, other than reading that book, is I made a thing called the Kids Corner. And basically what that was is this calendar that I made where I put each kid on each day I had one of my children and I put their love language on it. And for every time it was their day, I would speak that love language, whether if it was quality time, if it was words of affirmation, if it was gifts. I mean, I did everything necessary to show them that I actually gave a shit about who they were as a person. But more important, I think the best thing I did, other than studying the love language and learning how to communicate with my children, is I just listened. I didn't try to solve their problems. I just listened. And I just try to understand them, because remember, their problems that they're going through right now it's relative to them. It may not seem like a big deal to you, but to them it is. And if you can show them that you actually give a shit about their problem in a way where they can see that you're not trying to solve it, but you're just trying to listen and empathize and sympathize with them, they will start to see that they can trust you more. And then the communication will start to happen. And it'll start to come out. Don't force it, don't push it. And sooner or later, it will become a well-oiled machine where you can talk back and forth with one another, and you'll share what is going on in your daily lives and how you can better your relationship with your teenage stepdaughter. So stepmom, I hope that helps. 5 love languages for children. I highly recommend you read just that book. Seriously, just read that book. Make sure you listen. Don't try to solve the problem, and try to figure out who they are. Take notes. Take copious notes. It works. Okay, question 2. I am so over my husband taking up for his daughter, my stepdaughter, when she acts like a brat. We are never on the same page. Okay. All right, so this is a bio dad, stepmom again. I'm loving these stepmom questions. This is a bio dad, and stepdads, you're going to be going through the same thing. But this is a situation where the bio parent is taking up for their kid no matter what. And basically what she's saying is when she acts like a brat, we are never on the same page. So stepmom, check this out. You and your husband need to develop teamwork. And you've clearly never sat down and talked about the parenting aspect of your home. Meaning it's a 50-50 split. I'm a firm believer of this. You are a parent. You are parenting a child, and you are helping them. You are molding them to become an adult. And if you and bio dad are not on the same page, it means that you've never sat down and talked about how to properly parent in a way where you two can both come off as a team. You need to be working on your team. Now, what this means is this: you need to take a step back. First, figure out why it's bothering you so much, right? Are you doing everything necessary in order to properly communicate with your stepdaughter so that she doesn't see you as some outsider, or she doesn't see you as some just, empty space, but she actually sees you as a person in her life that she can respect and she can admire and she can look up to? And if you're not doing that, you need to take a step back and look at yourself. And then right after you do that, or in the same exact breath, you and bio dad, you and your husband need to sit down and you need to identify your goals in your relationship. You need to identify your goals in your parenting teamwork. You need to identify your goals as a family. You need to identify them, you need to write them down, and then you need to strive and keep each other accountable for these goals. Accountability is huge. Commitment to consistency is huge. But if you and your partner have not sat down and talked about this, it means that there is a lack of communication between you two. Therefore, he doesn't see it as a problem, and he only sees you getting upset, and he's probably maybe trying to avoid, a confrontation. So he'll either do what he does, which is, I'm assuming, not say anything and walk away, or just completely defend her, and then you find yourself getting in a fight for no reason at all, when it can be a simple fix. There should be no dominant person within your home, especially the parents. There should be no dominant figure. You should be coming off as a team. Represent yourself as a team. Work on your team. Remember, you're molding a young human here. This is not about, I'm 60, you're 40, I'm 70, you're 30. It's a 50-50. Let's parent them in a way so they can see that this is how a relationship should be. This is how parenting should go. This is how problems should be solved together, not separate. So, stepmom, show them this. Let them hear this. Okay, and last question of the day. Looking for advice on how to deal with my stepson who won't stop lying. We've tried taking away whatever he is lying about, and we've had countless talks about the consequences of lying, but it just won't stop. All right, lying. Kids lie. I don't know what you want me to tell you, stepdad. Kids lie all the time, and it's not because they're lying to be malicious. They're not lying to be evil. They're lying because they're kids. You know, I talked to my son about this the other day. My son is always telling lies, always telling these little white lies that he doesn't need to tell. And I could see right through them, right? Stepdads, we've been there. We've done that. We're the mayor of that town. We have the t-shirt. We already know what the kid's going to do, what they're going to say, and how they're going to do things. Yet they still seem to do it and think they're going to get away with it. So I simply asked my son, why do you feel like you need to lie? And his answer to me was, well, I don't want to get in trouble. And I said to him, you know, I would much rather you just tell me the truth and us deal with it together, son, than you feel like you need to keep something from me or lie to me to try to skate past it or try to avoid it. Avoiding whatever is happening, whether I'm asking you a question on who did this or who did that, or you're just lying because you feel like you need to. Avoiding it or trying to, not deal with it in a way that our relationship calls for. Meaning, son, I'd rather you just tell me the truth and let's just deal with it together. I'm sure it's not as big as you think it is. Son, I asked you to get off your phone at 9 and I walk in at 9:30 and you're saying you did get off your phone, but I already knew you were on it, right? Why do you feel like you need to lie? Well, Dad, I don't want to get in trouble. Well, then let's stick to the rules. There shouldn't be, try to avoid the consequences of taking away the thing that they're lying about, because that's just going to force them to want to lie more about it. I'm going to go back to the original question I had in question 1, which was about like books. The 5 love languages for children will help you identify their love language, which will help you identify ways to communicate with them properly so that they can feel and you can feel more comfortable talking with one another and being on the same page. But make no mistake about it. Kids lie. Teenagers lie. Everybody lies. Whether they're white lies or big lies, it happens. We try to avoid confrontation that way. You do it, step parent. So don't be such a hard ass. If they're lying all the time, figure out a different way to communicate with them so you can get to the root of where the lie comes from, whether it's fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, you name it. There is something there at the root of it, but you cannot get to the root of it if all you're doing is focusing on the main problem, which is him lying. Okay, he's lying. Why? Ask yourself that question, stepmom or stepdad. Why? Why is he lying? Why is he lying so much about this thing? And start to reverse engineer it until you get to the root of the problem. But make sure that you're doing it in a way where he feels comfortable talking with you about it so then you can form a conclusion. Does that mean he's going to become a truth teller for the rest of his life? No. But it does mean that it will help you deal with these little tiny, these are little tiny problems, in a more productive manner. So I hope that helps. All right, guys, this is episode 107 of the Professional Stepdad Show. Like always, if you have not, please like, subscribe, share to the show, hit that notification button, all the platforms. Guys, I'm blessed, I'm happy, I'm thankful, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you who are listening. Welcome to the show, stepmoms. I mean, I got 7 different questions from stepmoms, and this is a show called The Professional Stepdad, and I love that shit. So, yeah, this growth is quite fun. Until next time, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything. Your blue sky.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.